trippy.
Yeah.
6 of
Yeah,
the
no,
fourth. Yeah.
it definitely is. I had a head injury first, and then my stepmom died. So my dad, at the time was 65, and I'm like, the short term side effects started becoming long term. I was just like looking at my dad, and I'm like, oh fuck, like that's a reflection of me if I don't stop drinking. So I stopped drinking early April, and then Anzac Day come into May, and I think it was like the end of April. I signed up for a 10K running event. So I'm like, oh fuck it, I'll train for it. Right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to cut out chips, cut out takeaway, cut out cans of drink, soft drink, just clean this clean diet. I was like, have this clean diet. So I was like, I'll run this 10K and then I'm going to took this trip to the Philippines. And so I sort of said to myself, well, I'll not drink for the month of May and train, and then I'll run the event, and then I'll drink on my holiday. But something along the way said, oh, don't drink on the holiday. So I was like, okay, well, I won't drink on the holiday. Said that to myself. So ran the 10K, took the holiday, come back, and I ended up buying a jet ski. And then I'm like, I'm going to do the City to Surf. City to Surf is August. And I'm like, okay, it's that you finish at Bondi, you run from the Sydney to Bondi. And so now we're like, this is the beginning of June and going to July. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to plan for my friends to meet me at the finish line at the City to Surf, and then we'll all celebrate and we'll all drink. And I sort of started to plan something, and then my friends were just being weird about it. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna not get them involved. I'm just gonna run it. Like I'm just gonna fucking fuck them. And I'm like, I'm not gonna drink. I'm like, I'll just drink at Christmas. And then it wasn't until then, like this is like now July, August, and I'm like, it wasn't until when I said I'll just drink at Christmas that's when something popped into my head and said, oh, you're making excuses to drink. And I was like, oh, well, I'm just not going to drink at all then. And that's just sort of how it all came about. And then I've not really gone the other way since. I get anxiety if I think about me drinking again, because I know that I'll probably just fucking disappear somewhere and wake up with an empty bank account 5 days later, and probably who knows what would happen. My life would be over.
Yeah, no, I respect that, man. And I do see myself as becoming probably a non-drinker, but every now and again, it's going to be hard to not have a drink with a friend who is prone to doing the old "can't, man, just have a drink with me," and because it's just the culture of socializing. I think, it's a tricky one, but I find I have so much more energy when I've gone, not drinking. It's almost like it activates some internal caffeine or something. And you can just if you know you're not drinking, but if you're having that conversation with yourself, oh, will I drink? Won't I drink? Will I drink? Won't I drink? Knowing you're probably going to end up having a drink, then you waste all your energy on trying to make that decision or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know how long Eminem's been sober for?
Probably about a decade.
Very long time. I didn't know. When I found out, I was like, oh, I sort of liked him that little bit more, because I went off Eminem once I realized he ditched Donald Trump and become MK Ultra. I sort of was when I found out he was sober, because he looks different. He's not like the old Eminem. He looks clonish.
Yeah. Yeah, there's rumors about him being high. I think it's just because he died. I think he's got a grey beard, man, and I reckon he dyes his beard. And I reckon that makes him look a bit weird, to be honest.
Yeah, and there's also another rapper too, that's sober and talks about sobriety. But there's a lot of people out there, and I'd really like to talk to someone that, because I go through these identity crises where, because I spent a lot of my life with drinking involved, best way to sort of explain it is a year, 3 years to 2 years to 12 months before I stopped drinking, I had a job and I was an estimator for a roofing company. And then closer to the end of this time, it's like I was pretending not to be the drinker that drank every day. The only time I wouldn't drink was probably one night a week when I was broke. So like I was going into work in states of hungover, or there was sometimes I was actually fucking drinking and taking drugs, going to work, and just being, and but I was hiding that, right? So I had to pretend. So there was a period of my life where I wasn't me because I was pretending. So I was pretending to be the good employer. I was pretending to my friends that I wasn't drinking. I was pretending I wasn't drunk. I was pretending to be sober. So there's a lot of fakeness that was for a period of my life where in my hardest times I never realized what it was to become me because I was hiding a lot of stuff. So there's a big fucking big time where I didn't even know to go through all of that where you don't even know who you are and you're just suffering in this fucking cocoon and then come out and then go sober. It's like, fuck, like who the fuck am I? Because I spent a lot of my time dealing with life's problems, drinking. Like I've got a son and a fiance, and that's like it's pretty fucking fearful, man. Because it's like, fuck, I can't run anymore, right? Like I can't just hop in the car, go to the pub, and disappear for 4 days, or I can't just lock myself at home and drink and go on the TAB and go play poker. Like I can't live that life. Like so it's all there, it's all real, and I can't run anymore. And it's like my biggest thing that I face is that identity. Like who the fuck am I? And I'm a piece of shit, really. I'm that piece of shit that used to come, that person that come out. Different versions of me would come out after 6 drinks. Different ones would come out after 10, after 14, after 18, after 20, 22, 2 bottles of Ciroc. Like different versions would come out. I've had episodes where I've smoked a bit of weed and fucking drunk a bottle of vodka, and I've freaked out. And so it's like, yeah, it's who the fuck am I, right? So I've been running for like 4 years, and I've just gone through all of these different sort of fucking challenges where I've had to, I'm not the overweight sloppy addict that's addicted to food and drinking and all of these things. Like I'm not that person on the lounge getting fat, eating ice cream and stuff and judging people online, which I can go in these little weaves of. That's why I sign up for running events, so I can stay accountable, because I'm my snowballing after, like you were saying, with being like you go on that health kick and then you drink and then you stumble, right? So my stumble after a running event can lead me into 2 months of just eating shit, where I then become that fat, obese person on the lounge judging people, right? So I go back to that piece of shit that I was when I was drunk, that failure, that like, I hate myself. I really hate myself. And so I sign up to these running events and I train and I lose weight, and then I'm an ultra runner. The growth that I've been through and the way that I've gone about it. Like, I don't know whether ultra running is better than therapy, or I don't know if I need therapy. I don't know what I need, but it's just like, I don't think I need anything really. I think but having that identity of like, who am I and who was I, and hang on, what? And you come out in the middle of a fucking pandemic and you're just like, hang on, someone's trying to kill me now? What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
it's just fucking wild, man. Think like, fuck. It's just, and half of the nation's under a mass case of fucking hypnosis. And my transformation, not just with my running and all of these other things and my life that I've created now, but coming from the mass change that I have, and realize 37 years of my life, or 36 years of my life, the people that I associate with and interact with are still living that same life that they was, where that version of me, where that old version of me used to exist, right? My changes that I've made, I'm in this completely different reality, this completely different version. It's complete, like, when I see my dad, my mom, my sister, and everyone else in that vibration, and I'm not a part of that, and I've made changes, you can really go, fuck, man, I had a lot of fucking trauma. And it was that programming and that life and all of those dysfunctional motherfuckers that normalized this
Mm.
is what caused me, coming from a broken home. And my dad was a drinker and a gambler. My mum and dad separated when I was 7. The next minute, all of these, you have relationships and they fail, jobs fail, and you're a failure in your late 20s. And it's like you don't have anyone to teach you how to be a person, be a man, be all these things. And it's like drink, 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 drink. And you go back and you do all the inner work, and it's like, fuck, it's because of you motherfuckers, right? So that that are still the same. So yeah, so it's yeah, man, it's an interesting story when I talk about it. When I go deep, I'm only just sort of
Mm.
scratching the surface on it all, but it's
Yeah.
because I've lived it. I've lived both sides of it. Like you heard of the Spaniard,
Yeah,
the
yeah, dude. I was
Spaniard.
watching him today. I really like
Yeah,
Spaniard.
yeah. Like you hear him, and I was just explaining that identity thing. You got Russell Brand. Russell Brand was a junkie, and Eminem
Mm.
was, the way he were like. Do these people too struggle with identity? Like Spaniard used to stab people and beat people up. He went to jail, and he can go outside and normal. Like I wasn't violent. Like I didn't do those things. Like I haven't done these horrible. I wasn't a junkie like Russell Brand. But like you just see people out there that have gone through recovery, and you just think, fuck, they don't look like they're suffering. They're not running ultra marathons. That like, and yeah, man, like I just I don't know. It's maybe it changes as time goes on, and like Eminem and Russell Brand, they're 10 plus years, 20 odd years, whatever, 12 years, 16 years recovery, however long it is. And I just think, fuck, maybe that's what it takes until you can fully surrender to everything that was, and
Yeah.
yeah, just appreciate things.
I don't think people can confidently, publicly speak about it and have it as their story and their identity and their thing unless they've done a really solid amount of time on the sober path before because otherwise they're still fighting with it. So I think they get through the stage of fighting with it. Because even when I've been on a health kick, I've never put statuses on Facebook going, I'm like, I'll never drink again and this or that, because I know that I will. But like, I think after a certain amount of years, I think you can confidently take that on as your identity. If you can last a certain amount of time, you've already been put through a certain amount of tests, and then you can be that guy.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be the beginning of my journey, but I think we're close to wrapping this up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's been
nice.
good, man. It's been good.
Well, look, man, thanks for jumping on and allowing me to do this. Yeah, I just with my story, my journey and stuff, like there's a bit of a message that I like to share, and just like speak to people that I stumble upon, or sort of have sort of inspire, or whether they seek inspiration or I seek inspiration, or those that seek something that can offer, someone that can whether it's change or motivation or cool shit, like everything that you're doing. So like I sort of like, my channel sort of based on that, to just reach out and speak to people, and yeah, and just fucking, I don't know, just create, we're the creators, right? So yeah, so I do appreciate you leaning in and letting us do this. So yeah, man.
No, it's
Thank
been
you.
great, man. I appreciate it. And you have inspired me and motivated me. Even if you don't realize you have, I've actually been listening to every single thing you've said and taking a lot out of it.
Mm.
And I'll probably be hitting you up for chats to pick your brain on certain things in the future.
Good. That's what I'm here
Certain
for.
things that we've touched on that we could probably do this,
Again.
whether it's on here or like even just a normal phone call or whatever. But I've got many questions that I'll save for another time as well.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Fire them away whenever you want. You know how to reach me, and yeah, I love talking. So whatever, man. Via
For sure,
number,
mate.
however it may be. So
Sweet as.
Cool. All right, brother. Well,